concerns on an association is liabilities.
Yeah.
No one wants to raise their hand and be on the board and be liable for everything.
Yeah.
My preference personally would be to go through the town, which we haven't discussed with them, but I'm aware of this. They are
Right.
our body, our government. That's would be my preference.
Yeah, and I mean, we've gone through different towns before. We've contracted with selectmen, we've contracted with conservation commissions, so that's something that's definitely possible. A lot of towns, Merrimack, Francistown, the town has stepped up when, even if there has been a lake association, the lake association would rather have the money and everything go through the town. So that's definitely a possibility. Just start communications with them and at least broach the subject so that they can think about it.
You brought up the matching fund, and I know
Yeah.
you'll get deeper into that. But
Yeah.
before we do, I'm really curious. The state obviously knows there's a problem, and you've already admitted that the problem comes downstream from upstream. Why do we need to call it a promote it? Why is it the state that does this?
Well, that's because there are just a couple of us and 72 water bodies that are invested in limited funds. So we usually go to where people are asking us to do something. We just don't have the resources to go out and manage every single one of those water bodies on our own initiative. So we usually have people come to us and request assistance, and then it's a grant process. It's like a regular grant for any project that people would like to do. They come to us, request the funds, we get bids on the job, and then we have a ranking system for how the funding is given out. And usually, just to give you an idea, we have about $100,000 available annually to give out for control practices. Last year, I had requests that were in excess of $375,000. I had 30 requests for funding, I could fund 18. So we just don't have the resources. That's one of the reasons why we have management plans, is that we're staggering who gets treatments and who gets matching funds every year. So we can't fund one lake every year. So, good segue into the funding, actually. In terms of the funding, what we usually do is if it's a brand new infestation to a system, a completely clean system, brand new infestation, the state by law can give out 100% matching fund, 100% cost for that payment, for that treatment. If it's a problem that persists throughout the system and it's a maintenance system, a maintenance treatment, then we can match up to 50%. So at this point, because the whole system is invested at this point, we'd be in a matching situation. So that would be up to a 50% cost. Now, this is the bad news. Doing the math out, the herbicide treatments for the 2,4-D run between $250 to $350 per acre. So if you do the math out with the 95 acres and then add on the contractor fees, which are about $2,000, you're looking at $35,000 to $40,000 for that whole treatment of all that area that's in tank. And that's just the ballpark. I mean, that's a good ballpark. So that's about the price. So what other towns or what other lakes have done is they've gone to their town and they've asked for warrant articles to be put in so that the town can match some of that funding. Lake associations use some of their dues money, or people that don't have lake associations put into a kitty. I have one lake that does milfoil bake sales, not literally milfoil bake sales. They have bake sales to go into the milfoil fund. There's all kinds of creative things out there. They don't put milfoil in the food. But there are options to raise money, and then we can match up to 50% of those costs. So that would be probably like a $15,000 to $20,000 match. So looking at it from my perspective, that's about a fifth of my annual budget, which is large. But you probably won't need to put out that much money again, like I said, because you'll be keeping it at a smaller level using other strategies. So you treat it, and then if we come out, we don't charge for our dive time or the suction harvester time. If we hire contract divers, there'll be costs associated with that, but they'll be smaller. So, and again, matching funds come into play for that.
In this case, we do have multiple communities where essentially you have Goffstown, where you're sitting in, then the other half of it is in Manchester. Have you had situations similar to that, and how did you resolve that?
Many lakes are in multiple towns.
talking a little bit about association, et cetera, and going with that local town. Well, you know, obviously, I'm gonna say the greater group of us are associated here because of that body of water, but we do live in two different areas. Are we saying we should have two different associations?
No.
Or, and the other question would be, and I'm sure you'll answer it then, if you have those two communities, so let's say it was 40,000 and they're doing it matching half of 20, maybe we're looking at these two communities and we're saying, hey, maybe we can go toward them for 10. How do they communicate with each other, and how does that process work?
Depending on which entity in the town, if it's the selectmen or if it's the conservation commission, they could communicate. You could have a meeting where they get together and communicate. And what we could do is, if they want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, we could figure out percentage of the milfoil in each town, and then they can contribute a percentage of that based on how bad the infestation is.
So you would do that?
I would do the math for you.
All right.
Yes, I would do all that out for you.
What's the easiest way to get funding, through the municipality or through an association?
It depends, everybody's different. Some
I mean, in your experience, is it easier to go through the town? Is it easier to get grant money through an association? Is there any federal money available?
Unfortunately, no federal money. We've gotten federal money in the past, but it's been for research. The feds aren't really willing to put out money to treat individual water bodies. But the answer to the question of which is easier, it depends on which town. Some lake associations in wealthier parts or bigger parts of the state have all the money in the world that they can throw towards their lake. I have lakes that are very small with very few property owners on it. They don't have much money at all, so they go to the town. So it depends on where you are, and you need to do that assessment based on your knowledge of the town budgets, or if any of you are involved in town politics, knowledge of that, and then you need to work from that. And just start the communication process of putting warrant articles out there to secure some funds that can be used for that. I know several towns across New Hampshire have milfoil funds that they just continually add into every year because they know they're going to need to do something if they already have a problem, or it's a rainy day fund in case they get it. We've got towns in New Hampshire that put money aside even though they don't have milfoil, but they want to reserve. So the bargaining point is that on water bodies that have milfoil, property values can decline. So the tax base could go downhill for the town. So that's an arguing point for them. So a lot of municipalities want to protect.
So all of us are ultimately responsible if the town and the state say, I don't know, just for example, it costs 60 grand. The town says, we'll throw 30. The state says, we'll throw 10. The other 20 comes from all of us.
It could be that scenario.
Or can you do pardon the expression, can you do a half-ass treatment? Would that be anything, with the money that you have, or are we just, blowing smoke up the water?
The best case scenario is to treat all the areas that need to be treated. The second best scenario is to treat the areas that are high priority. If you treat everything and do it well, you'll have a longer time frame in between when you need to treat. If you treat the priority areas and leave other areas with milfoil, it'll return quicker because you've got standing crops of it that will come back.